All right. Um, so first off, I just want to say welcome. Thank you for taking the time to talk with us for the TRILLVISION Film Festival. If you don't mind just starting off, you want to share with everyone your name, your film, and kind of talk to us about what's that about and how you were inspired to create it.
Appreciate it. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me on today. My
Of
name is
course.
Marcus Nel-Jamal Hamm. I'm kind of so many things. I'm going to give you kind of like a quick rundown. I am a filmmaker, actor, producer, writer, and professional wrestler.
Nice, nice. Yeah, definitely definitely needed a rundown. So, talk to us about your film. What's the name of it, and what inspired you to create that?
Well, the film is entitled Triggered 2.0. And just to kind of give you a little background on the concept and why it's called Triggered 2.0, my original film was shot in 2022, 2021, 2022, released in 2022. It's called Triggered, a cinematic superhero fan film.
Hmm.
This project was actually something that was collaborated with now no longer with us, very good friend of mine by the name of Stephen James Tingus. Stephen was a very major advocate of disability and diversity inclusion, and Stephen had a rare form of muscular dystrophy. My first film was called The Black League of Superheroes. My first fan film, that is.
Hmm.
And that film I made during the pandemic in 2020. Steven wanted to be a part of that, but because of the pandemic, his medical team told him not to get out. And we collaborated on a story that gave him his final wish, which was that he wanted to be the villain in a superhero film. And that coincided with my desire to continue on with my joy of playing superhero characters. In this
Hmm.
film, I play the character Blade. In no way, shape, or form am I trying to replace the king, the one and only, the true Blade, Wesley
Yeah, he wouldn't
Snipes,
let
but
you either.
he wouldn't let me anyway. But I will say that I was very grateful to pay homage to the character. One
Hmm.
thing about my writing and my filmmaking when it comes to superheroes is I I'm not trying to copy any of the live actors' performances. So all of our characters are based directly inspired from the comics and from the animes. So there is a Blade anime out there where you see a bald version of Blade. That
Okay.
was kind of like my inspiration for the my variation of the character. I've been referred to as the Ham verse with my version of my superheroes. Uh,
Okay.
but but just getting back to Steven,
Hmm.
we successfully completed Triggered, and he played a character. His character is the only original character. Everyone is a
Okay.
superhero that's based on the comics except his. His character is called the Director, and that was the character that we collaborated on. And basically, his character is this megalomaniac genius who wants to end all superheroes because he considers us all a threat to humanity. He wants
Yeah.
the human race to reign supreme. And he also has a very personal hatred for Wolverine, who was played by Fernando Marrero, who is uh, a professional MMA fighter and professional wrestler.
Nice.
He is Afro Latino, um, and also mixed with various other things. But if you know him, you know that he lives and breathes the character Wolverine,
Hmm.
and the story revolves around his character. The rest of us are supporting cast,
Hmm.
and Trigger 2.0 takes the story to the next level. So unfortunately, we did lose Steven after the first film, and we had ideas about the character because the character was intended to move forward, and he basically cures himself cinematically. And we have a new actor, Joshua Longfellow Wright, who takes over
Hmm.
the role and surprises Wolverine with still being around. And he escalates his plan in part 2.0, and basically involves the destruction of the entire world. And
Dang.
his belief is that if he destroys this world,
Hmm.
We're going to have a variant world that is the complete opposite, that is so safe and so perfect that it would not require it to have superpower beings. So
Wow,
he
man.
has appropriate intentions, but it of course means that all of us have to go. Hey Mario,
Hello, Mario.
Hey,
Nice to
hi,
meet
how
you.
are you guys? Thank you for having me here.
Of course, of course, of course. Thank you for making it, man. No, I just want to say first off, that's awesome. I'm sorry to hear about your friend, but I'm I love to see that the passion and like the project kept going, even despite all of that. That like seeing that you guys are still out here making it, still out here producing, and like you're not letting anything stop that dream, but rather giving it fuel to keep going. That's amazing. That's amazing. I love that.
thank you.
Um, One question, kind of just to get your opinion on, since you guys are in the industry of superhero films. What are your thoughts on, like briefly, what are your thoughts on how the media is dealing with superhero fatigue and the involvement of new faces and kind of mainstream MCUs, especially? You see a lot of faces now that, weren't around in '08 or early 2000s.
I mean, personally, I think that superhero fatigue is caused more by the quality of the films in a certain span of time versus the superhero genre.
Hmm.
Superhero genre has been around well before the MCU became a thing. You know, we all know Blade
Yeah.
was the first Marvel film to really bring Marvel films to that stage. But we
Hmm.
can go all the way back to 1977 and the first Christopher Reeve Superman. Um, Anytime a film is done well and it involves a classic hero, it is well received. You know, and even today of all days to ask that question, you know, they just released the cast list uh,
Yeah.
for the next upcoming Marvel film, and the excitement has just kind of been regenerated. You know,
Hmm.
so I think when it comes to fatigue, I mean, I do believe that there was a period after Endgame where specifically for the MCU
Hmm.
films that there was a kind of decline in the quality of some of the films that had come out based on
Hmm.
audience reactions and box offices. Um, but I don't believe it has to do necessarily with the genre. I think the genre is eternal. I think it's just like James Bond movies and all these
Hmm.
other things that have become, you know, like tradition. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
so I think we're at a good place right now where they're starting to get back on track. I've been watching
Hmm.
this new Daredevil series and just been amazed at how well that's been done. And I think these next
Yeah.
couple of films are going to be incredible as well.
Yeah. I agree. Me just with my acting background, like I've always loved superhero films and media, and seeing Deadpool is one of my personal favorites. So like seeing things like Deadpool and stuff come to screen is always amazing. But I agree, there was a time where it just kind of was seeming like the studios weren't caring anymore about that quality. So I definitely think you make a good point with that. Like, no. And it seems like they kind of realized that and they kind of learned, and now that excitement is coming back.
Yeah, and
Um,
I will tell you, Deadpool is in our film.
yeah. Hey, I appreciate that. You knew I'd be there. I was just finally just gonna ask, if you guys have any upcoming projects you want to speak on, let us know, and give the people a way to get in contact with you or reach out to you via social media.
Ario, you want to go first?
Uh, there's many projects always in the works, right? You always work on one,
Hmm.
you put it off in the back burner, and once the new idea comes, and you start working on another, and then you get inspired to work on this other thing again.
I
So
understand.
there's always like two or three projects working, right?
Hmm.
Um, as for the superhero movies, right? We are working on the third one, right? Which Marcus can speak a little more about in terms of the storyline. Uh, and the point that I wanted to make earlier, right, was it's not so much the fatigue, it's a storytelling point of view, right? If the story's there, you don't feel it, you just
Yeah.
engage. If the story's not there, it doesn't matter how much money and how many uh, what is it explosions there are. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
because it's not. The story's not there. I'm not like, and you end up nitpicking, right? Or you just turn it off, right? You're not
Yeah,
engaged.
I agree.
So that's really what it comes down to. Is like, if the story's there, yeah, and you're having fun, right? You're engaged with the character. There's something about it. You're gonna watch it. You're gonna see it
Mhm.
through. But yeah, it all hinges on the story, right? That's what the comic book is
Yeah.
is a story. It's a story first, a
Hmm.
story with pictures, right? And as long as that's being fulfilled, I think that we're always going to have an audience.
Yeah, I agree. Sorry about
Dropped
that.
as far as how to follow us on Instagram, Facebook. We have at Triggered Fan Film. That's how you can keep track of this particular film. You can follow me on Instagram at Marcus Nel-Jamal Hamm.
Awesome. Anything on YouTube?
Yes, Urban Renaissance Entertainment. If you go to YouTube, you can subscribe to our channel, superheroes there, and our trailers for Triggered 1 and 2, along with a lot of additional content as well. And we'll eventually be releasing the final cut of Triggered. What we're shooting next is really just to complete the story, and then we're
Mhm.
going to be putting it all together into one online release feature.
Gotcha. All right. Well, Marcus and Mario, I want to first thank you guys for taking the time out of your day to come speak with us briefly. And also thank you guys for having your work submitted into Trill Vision Festival. Honestly, it's an honor. Unless you guys have any other questions, we're all good here. And I hope you
So
both
thank
have
you
a
so
great rest of
much.
your day. Of course.
You too. Thank you all so much. It's a pleasure.